up off the ground, throw them in the back of the Land Rover, and then bring them up here and stick them in this shed. So one of the nice things about the realistic cedar mod is that if you've got two partial pallets, you can put them one on top of the other and it will merge them into one pallet. So you have less stuff lying around as it is. I don't have any partial, or I don't have two partial pallets. But let's say I was going to go out and plant what I knew to be 2 fields of clover. I could just go down to the store, fill up the cedar, or if I bought a new cedar, I can come back here, unload what remains and merge the pallets together, which is a nice feature. And around there, we'll put this in the shed. I think, surprise, oh no, we are nowhere near done, but I can speed up time a bit. And the downside of this tractor, or this Land Rover, you sit on the right hand side in the UK, but you still get out the passenger door. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a fail of the mod. It's just, realistically, maybe it should. Oh, I did bring that back already. Okay. Well. How are we doing with silage? We're going to sit here and watch silage get eaten. So yeah, that's the only sort of niggly thing about that Land Rover that I found. Apart from that, it's a little bit light, so on some of the roads it does bounce around a bit. But it's realistic for the area. And it does what it's supposed to do. So 26,000. I know for a fact these bales are ready, because it's taken us about 3 days to haul all of the maize silage down from the farm, and this was 1 day behind the maize in whatever it was. Clover silage, yay. Actually, I was thinking this weight was normally used on one of my other tractors. Actually, it's not. So, 3 4s are 12. 12, yes. Of course. There's enough room for another stack, so that's what we'll do. Oh, no! And the big reason that the farm has a JCB is because of the 4-wheel steering. Originally I was using a the Lindner Lindtrack, and the 90 was woefully inadequate, but it's all we had. But then we got the 130, and the 130 was kind of okay, but we did eventually grow out of it. So at that point I got the telehandler for the tasks around the farm and the JCB for the super heavy stuff, and it makes a good tractor to use for getting equipment in and out of tight spaces because of the 4-wheel steering, although frequently exceeds the capabilities of the tow hitch on whatever it's trying to maneuver. again, this is going to be a ton of income for our farm, since we've got nothing better to do. Don't drop that out the back. It would be most unfortunate if I did. No, we did get it out of there. There we go. So I am running at times 15, so this is going to be a continuous job, not one that we're stopping every 5 minutes for half an hour to wait for things to happen. Oh, excuse me. Oop. Drop. Okay, what are we on now? 27 still. So at times 15, I'm absorbing about 12,000 litres per drive around the yard. Which is good. Yeah. Now it's 10 o'clock. Oh, 10 o'clock real time. That's we need to keep an eye on the clock because we are expecting our former foster kids over today. So gonna have to let them in. Lizard fork. Okay. Well, that didn't work very well. That's the other thing I like. So the other thing I like about one of the mods I'm running is the vehicle wear indicator down at the bottom left next to the fill indicator, which tells me my tractor is at 86% condition. The loader arms are at 72, the forks are at 61, and the weight's at 94. I'm not actually sure what the penalty for having a damaged weight is. But I've heard suggest that tractors suffer from a horsepower drop, which may or may not be true. I tend to run over capable vehicles on my equipment, so if what is it? Things like our plough is a 300 horsepower plough, our cultivator's about 300 as well, but the tractors I use to haul them have almost 400 horsepower. So if you're losing a slight bit of power on the engine, it's really unnoticeable. And the only time I notice anything on this map is driving up hills. But every single tractor doesn't drive up hills very well, even if it's running pretty much empty. So, not really an issue that I've noticed. With headers, with harvesting headers, it slows down the harvester, and I think, again, it's been suggested, but I haven't done the math to prove it, that yield is affected by a damaged harvester. Yeah, as I said, don't know that, can't prove that. It's kind of a difficult thing to math because damage is progressive, and also playing with seasons, damage is very slow. Base game, you can run a tractor up to 0% if you work it hard for an entire day at real time. But with seasons, everything seems to be an awful lot slower. And so there's loads of time that you just, yeah. I can go out and harvest, how many fields have I got now? Probably about 10 fields, and it's going to take me 6 or 7 real-time hours to do all of them, even with the bigger harvester. But we've probably only lost about 10-15% of our equipment condition in that time. So it's kind of spoiled me for getting into Farm Sim 22, where I'm maintaining equipment almost every day, and especially if you get used equipment, it just needs maintaining so frequently. This tractor's 42 hours. I think the Case and the Challenger have over 100 each. Lots of hours on those too. Come on. And go. So I finally caught up with the digester, and our job is going to slow down a bit. We're getting this thing fed quite well though. How much have we done? 3, 4, 5, 10. 10 times 3, 30 bales at 4,000 each. So it's probably about 120,000 litres fed to the digester so far today. Now obviously it's still digesting the last 50,000. Turn that away from there and we won't knock it over. Another reason for having the all-wheel steer on your loader. You can actually extract bales from a stack without unduly risking knocking them over. It's still a risk, but I always forget the crab steering as well on these. That's another way to get around the whole knocking things over and stacking things close to the wall. Usually what I'll do is I'll reverse up to a wall. So rather than going in this way because the loader sticks out, if you do that and reverse in, you can get a lot closer. But I always forget, I don't know what the button is. Steering mode is 15. To do that, and then the whole tractor will crab sideways, which is really handy. So what I should be doing here is probably something like this. We come in, we stab the bale, tip it back slightly and lift it slightly off the ground. Actually that was the right way. Stick it in reverse and we'll just crab away and still knock the bale over. Anyway, enough messing around, let's get this thing fed. It's hungry. And well, that was awesome. Well, it'll give it a chance to empty out so we can go back to feeding it fast. Nice. Okay. Then you can case you wondered if I was good at stacking bales, no, these were all done by an auto-load trailer. The semi-trailer we've got for the truck is an auto-load, and part of the reason for doing that is I can stack bales, but frankly, again, I don't want to spend the entire Saturday stream stacking 2 trailer loads of bales with a front loader. I'd much prefer to get the story moving on and just doing manually what has to be done manually. And auto loads are a little bit of a cheat, but frankly it just lets things happen. And I do have one of the Anderson bale collectors, which I generally use to pull the bales off the field, and that's not really cheating. It's a real world piece of equipment, so it does allow me to get the bales off the field in a timely manner. And all of the bales down at the yard are stacked using that. So again, they're not entirely pristine stacks of bales, because they do shuffle a bit as they're coming off the back of that thing. Anyway, get down to under 38,000, we can drop these. Go. So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we are I suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 3/8 of the way through our Clover Silage here, although we didn't start this till about 11. We could feed the entire set to the digester before nightfall. That's a good thing, I think. It's a big influx of cash though. I'm just not sure how much we're going to end up with. Going to be a nice surprise, I guess. So, sheep are fed. Fields are planted. As I said, we got 3 to plant in spring now, but we have so much income for the coming winter sales. Oh, I wasn't looking, was I? Shucks. We will have serious amounts of cash at the end of the year. There will probably be a lot of fields that we need to take a look at and figure out if they're going to be part of our farm. And primarily what's in them all. Zoom out. See, we own the entirety of this block. 13 is a grass field, 15, 16 are grass fields, 12 is a grass field. So, but they're small. They're not very expensive. And if we look at them, 151, actually that's, well, I guess they're not incredibly expensive. That's only 62. But I don't want to waste my money on that size of field. This is $1 million. 1921. We could expand there. That would give us all of those. 23 kind of an awkward field. It's currently grass. It's got a path down the middle of it. So it's really only good for grass, or we may strip it and put clover in it. But all of our clover fields are over here, where it's convenient for the usage. 29, 262, 573. This would be a good field to get because it fits in with all of these. Plus I'm looking for one that's accessed from this road here. The problem is 31 is isolated from the rest of all of our fields. And that's a problem. It's because there's a hedgerow along here. Harvest headers won't pass through hedgerows, and that's kind of an issue for me. But anyway, we probably can stick more bales in the feeder. Maybe I'll take this end one. But I've got probably 1 million litres of seed across multiple crop types that is ready for sale. So that's going to be sizable income. I forgot to sell the triticale last year. So we got triticale and spelt in the bunker silo, in the silo. Plus beets, plus potatoes. And the beets are excess to requirements as far as sheep food is concerned, so lots of those. The only problem is the amount of driving it's going to take to... I missed again. To sell everything. But if I use a tractor and the truck, we can move about just shy of 80,000 litres per trip. I'd kind of like to get another big tractor hauled tipper as well in the 30,000 litre capacity, which again would give me close to it, I think over 100,000 litres of transport capacity. That would get things sold a bit quicker, so long as it's not at Hilltop Stores. Problem with Hilltop Stores is it's a very tight yard. I can't get the semi in there easily, and even a 30,000 litre tractor grain cart rig isn't particularly easy to get around in there either. And I keep missing. Okay. I think I am gonna need to take a quick break. What I'll try and do is I'll try and grab 4. I think this tractor can actually carry 6 with that weight on the back. Oh, let's try that again. And that's really not favourable. Okay. Right, I need a quick break. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we are back. Let's gauge forward. I do like also that the whole forward reverse gear thing is now in Farm Sim rather than an extra mod. Something else I don't have to wait for. It's just one of the mods that makes it much easier to drive with a wheel and pedals. And I don't have to use the brake